Sorry about that. It's hard to hold this camera still and not accidentally hit the button that says stop. So as I was saying about the Guide to Judaism, it's really important if you're going to talk about Abrahamic faiths to learn something about Judaism because that's where everything else comes from. And if you don't understand the context that you're starting with, you can't really understand anything that comes after it. So, after that, we have a book about St. Teresa of Avila, who is just one of the awesomest saints of ever. She is the mother of the Discalced Carmelite tradition, which is the kind of monastic mystical tradition that I follow. The other major writer for that is St. John of the Cross. And the Carmelite path is particularly devotional, which is how I ended up with it. This is a book about Jews for Jesus. It's really only there because I got it at a used book swap. It is probably going to leave one of these days. This is The Way of the Cross. It's for use during Holy Week. This is one of my many, many journals. You'll see how many, many journals there are later. Down here we have a very old Mary Noel Missal. You can't really see it very well. Lots and lots of little Catholic booklets of prayers and chaplets. St. Augustine's prayer book, which is a main collection of that kind of stuff that is used within the English Anglican tradition. Little Book of Hours, and a little bitty Catholic Bible. Those are devotional-oriented works as well. So, moving on to the next shelf, which should be pretty quick, because this bookcase over here is a fiction bookcase, and a lot of it is my husband's. So here you see many, many, many graphic novels. I'll just get the pictures of them and you can pause and marvel at your leisure later on. Buckets of those, more buckets of those, more buckets of those. And then you have Stephen Donaldson, not the Thomas of the Covenant books, which I actually kind of despise, but the Morden Sneed series, which I liked. Tolkien, because you gotta figure. Neil Gaiman, because you gotta figure. And then it gets into my graphic novels, some of them. This is Girl Genius. She's awesome and I love her. And over at the end is The Devourer, which was my first published book. And to the next shelf. A very old family inherited copy of the Bible, an Audubon guide to California. Over here, we have The Christian Guide to Judaism is by Michael Lutker. I'm horrible at this. And that's the best one. I would really recommend that. I'm trying to get everything out here. Guide to Pronouncing Names in the Bible. A collection of a couple of works by Underhill, who's a famous Christian writer. And a book about creativity and God. And, you're not going to care about all of these. And then we get into herbalism. This is The Holistic Herbal by Hoffman. A Book of Essential Herbs by Julia Lawless. The New Age Herbalist. Complete Women's Herbal. That was a sale find. This is a guide to essential oil singles. And then we have a couple of Anna Riva books. Paul Byerl's Master Book of Herbalism. And his Follow up on Herbal Magic, Sticks, Stones, Roots, and Bones, some Cunningham books, Paul Hewson. These, I think of all of these as being standard, but if if you see something or I mention something and you want to go back and hear more about it, feel free to tell me. Morwen, Witch's Brew, Neil, Incense, Crafting and Use of, The Enchanted Formulary by Lady Rhea. This back here is a book of herbalism in the Bible. And then, yes, Alicia Torres, Folk Healer. This is one of his curanderismo books. This and the companion book, which is probably still in here somewhere, have been bound together into one book now. So if you go looking for it, go for his name. Hoodoo book by Cat Ironwood. Papa Jim's Herbal Magic. Some more Anariva. Tarot Star. My God, you guys, do you even remember Tarot Star? Oh my gosh. Road. Dover Edition. Old English Herbals. Leechcraft. Everybody loves it. Herbal Healing for Women. Healing with Herbs and Rituals and Curandero are both books by, again, Alicia Torres. He is local to my parents, and he sometimes does stuff online, so I've got a lot of his stuff. This is another book on curanderismo by Robert Trotter. Then we get to stones. We have Cunningham again. We have Dolphin. We have Dorina Dunwick. Hall. Diane Stein. These two I have because I've just had them so long that I can't not have them anymore. It's kind of one of those things. Animal Speak by Ted Andrews. Totem Magic by Jasmine Gailnorn. T.H. White's Bestiary. It's fun for medieval stuff. Down here, a lot of these are notebooks of other herbal sources that I compiled or wrote on my own. This is the formulary for the tradition I teach, which I compiled based on the herbs that I taught in the classes. This is my collection of those. These two are more general herbal information. California Herbal Remedies. Botany in a Day is obviously about botany. Infusions of Healing. This one is by Joey David. The light. Joey David, Joie. David Owl. There it is. And this is actually my very favorite one of the curanderismo books. It contains my very favorite liniment that I use myself and give to my neuralgic father. Excellent stuff. Medicinal Plants of the Pacific Northwest by Michael Moore. A Handbook of Native American Herbs by Alma Hutchins. Perhaps you can begin to see trends here. Los Remedios by Michael Moore. So it's another one on Southwestern regional traditions of herbs. Nanise Navajo Herbal by Vernon Mays. Can I get it so the light will actually show you the names? Vernon Mays and Barbara Bayless Lacey. I got that one fairly recently. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but the concept was just so exciting. The Herbal Yearbook I got from a friend. Haven't really had a close look at it. Complete Medicinal Herbal by Penelope Odie. This, my secret shame, this is Twilight in Spanish, which was going to be my excuse for reading Twilight at all, and my way of getting more conversant in Spanish. Hasn't happened yet. Then we have more notebooks. This is actually altered art stuff in here, old journals. And here at the end, we have Heavenly Bodies, Cult Treasures and Spectacular Saints from the Catacombs by Thames and, well, the publisher's Thames and Hudson. The author is Paul Kodunaris. Let's see if you can see that. The awesomeness of the pictures in this. Perhaps you can get an idea from the cover. So awesome, and it's about the tradition of relics and the use of bones and remnants in Christian ancestral work, and the particular way that played out with the ones done up all fancy. And you realize, okay, we've barely gotten started. So, you know what I'm going to do with the rest of this? I'm going to kind of divide it into categories, and then you can vote, or at least, tell me something about which categories you are most interested in hearing about. This one is a lot about foreign languages, because I always want to learn them and never get around to it. A couple of general works on philosophy, and then suddenly some root magic. These aren't terribly well organized. And some, special girl power shit. And I'll explain why I even have that. I know it's kind of one of those things nowadays. Okay! This shelf, it's showing you the wrong shelf. What the heck? Okay. Down on her knees she goes. Everyone get excited. This one has a book of shadows I used to keep for the tradition, some photos, lots of stuff about Christians, lots of prayer books, a bit about the Kabbalah. As we get down here, we have 3 full notebooks of EFM, which is Education for Ministry. It's a 4-year class that gets taught to people in the Episcopal Church so they can know what they're talking about when people want to ask them things. And then over here we have Erica Jung's Witches, which I've mentioned as kind of a formative book for me, and some encyclopedias and old school stuff. Alright, next shelf. We have stuff about tarot, some notebooks, old book of shadows, some stuff about saints, some stuff about shrines. Here we have a biblical dictionary, some more Christian stuffs, some books about classical astrology, a notebook of my notes on classical astrology. On this shelf, we have dolls. Hi, dolls. This shelf is all that remains of what used to be a whole case worth of just witchcraft and pagan-oriented stuff. I boiled it so totally down that this is all that remains. And these are the things that I just were either newer to me than the rest of them, or they have had enough of an impact on my practice that I felt I had better keep them around in case I wanted to refer back to them again. Here we have dolls and Kali, who doesn't quite have a shrine anymore, but doesn't not have a shrine. It's a long story there. You can ask for it if you want it. Next, we have Le Mort d'Arthur. We have some of my dad's old notes on Old English, Viking mythology, Poetic Edda, some stuff about music there, a Mary Oracle, and then we have on the left more historic-oriented stuff, and then as you go right, this is all Northern tradition, heathen-type stuff, things about Northern tradition, and I know there's a raven wolf over there, but there's not a lot that I've found so far on the hexes, the little signs. So if I have it, I keep it. Someday I hope to get rid of it. Caldera, Pathwalker's Guide. I have it because I'm in it. Yay. Okay. Next shelf. Dolls. This shelf we have some mysticism, some Christian-specific stuff, some saints, the Gnostics. I suppose I'll have to talk about the Gnostics eventually. Down at the bottom, we have some Celtic and fairy and druidry type stuff. Some of it personal notes. And then suddenly a few crafting books. Next case, we have mostly up here it's crochet and crafty type stuff. There's a book about writing over on the end. And then we have the classical, mostly Greek shelf. Classical, mostly Greek shelf. And then we have, look at there, dolls. Hi guys. Down here, we have, look, more saints, and then some books about high magic, ceremonial, grimoire tradition, things like that. And then even further down, there's some genealogy stuff, some stuff about Old English. A lot of this, but not all of it, came from my father because he was a medievalist initially, early in life. Coming over here, we have children's books I refuse to get rid of, and a couple of just odds and ends. Here we have Shelf Hindu, we've got some Tantra, we've got the Mahabharata, we've got some things about Kali and Tantra, and then it kind of goes over into random stuff. Here we get back into graphic book novels. We have buckets of those. Here we have an encyclopedic unabridged dictionary, because we are serious. And then some copies of an art zine that was made by an old dear friend of mine. She sent me copies of them. I love them so much. Lots and lots of crafty magazines. This is the art section up here, and then a few more graphic novels. And those are the shelves that are mine. And then over here, we get into more of my husband's stuff. So we have some Buddhism. He looked into it for a while. I didn't go through a Buddhist phase myself. Then a bunch of books on karate. And there's another hymnal and Bible up there, because you can't have too many different translations and copies running around. Here we have karate and prehistoric life. And, ancient things. Here we have sociology with a sexual or monster-oriented cast, because that's one of his things. And, oh, hey, more graphic novels. And then here we have more history of ancient cultures, several things about Rome. He's a Rome fan. Down here, We have some Vikings, we have some wars, we have some more graphic novel related stuff. Down here we have a random pile of sci-fi and a few more things about history and archaeology. And over here, once again, we're back to all graphic novels all the way, all the time. Graphic novels. And then a random pile of sci-fi and doll. And so those are all of the books that are in this room, the office/library/temple center. And if you want to get into more detail on any of those shelves and have me actually pull some stuff out so you're not just trying to look at them on shaky cam while I don't tell you anything, let me know and I'll go back and break it down further. So enjoy your evening or the rest of your time when you set out to watch this, and honestly, good on you, because the production quality of this is very poor. Bye-bye.